Okay, so this end of the building here, I'm noticing underneath the carport roof, we probably have to have a roof beam supporting underneath this ridge here. So I'm probably going to need to move this post location back to below that ridge. So to do that, I'll set out some set-out lines to start with. I think I'll grab my tape measure, come from that edge until it clicks on that point there. Probably then I can come from this set out plane and oops, I'll try that again. Wrong line. No, it's not. No, it might be. Yes, it is. Okay, so I've just pulled the tape measure back to that intersection point. At which point now, just nominally, I'll move that post back to the middle of that location. So I'm moving the post back from midpoint to that intersection there, so and then we could pull that post up. Click on it and orbit it up. I'll keep it like always. I'm keeping it slightly separate to the actual roof structure. So I don't want it to join the roof structure. I want to come up to about there and then pull back a little bit. I'll just clean up the construction lines we've created. Leave that one there, so it's just those two. Okay. Alright, so that's the mass model now. I just want to put a bit of detail on this mass model, but then I'm not going to take it any further than that at this stage before we then start working on it as a detail model. But just to finish off the massing concepts, I think I'd like to put a little bit of detail which might affect sun shading, so that we can do a little bit of a quick analysis before we take it any further. So you can please yourself what you want to do in terms of closing this gap out over the entry through here. There's a couple of options. You could simply push-pull this surface onto there, close that up completely, and then start deleting these lines. That's one option for you to work on. Or I'm going to just play around with a couple of other options. Another option might be I might just go and grab a tape measure. I think I'll change to the roof layer. At this stage I'll grab a tape measure and I'm just going to push-pull this edge back in green axis, something like about 1200 I think. To there. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, so I think I'll do that again. So along this edge of the roof in green axis, 1200. That's better. And then while I'm in the roof layer, I could then start closing off this roof shape, something like this. Okay, and maybe then do the bottom edge first. Okay, in which case we can then tidy up some of these lines. See if I can tidy them up underneath as well. Okay, and also I'll get rid of that construction line. So that might be a bit of a starting shape, offering some protection over the front door. I'm going to do something else around the front door to offer more protection in a second. I might also, while I'm at it, tape measure. Now I might just drop a line down from close to that corner point anyway, perpendicular to that edge, and then I'll imagine that I'm building some open pergola timber members, maybe 125 by 50 rough sawn hardwood, so 50 millimeters in this direction, and 125 up from the bottom edge. And then I'll just finish off this member and you'll see what I'm doing now. Just tidy up a little line there and the construction lines. Now I could then select that face while I'm at it and make a copy of that face every 300 millimeters up that edge. So while I've got on edge, I'll type 300, press enter, and another one, copy, change the move to copy by pressing Control, another 300 millimeters. 300 millimeters, that looks like about the last one, and then I could push pull those shapes as if they were open members, which at that angle might offer some winter sun penetration and offer some more summer shade, but we'll check that out in a second. You'll see when we start playing with this mass model how we can determine some sun angles. SketchUp can be a very good tool for determining how your design is going with respect to sun. Okay, so that might be one option. There's many other options you could go with, so I'll just very quickly show you another option. I'll just pause the video just for a sec so I can show another option. So another option might be to form a shape like this, maybe with some open rafter members sloping down. I'll just split that face there just for a moment, and then I'll take a copy of that face and I'll copy it on red axis direction, just for anywhere as long as it's going on red axis. Sorry, that's move, I wanted to copy, so Control key changes to copy, and then I'm copying it on that member in that direction, possibly 450. We'll try that and see what that looks like, in which case I'll then start push pulling that shape. Just before I do push pull the shape, you could decide that you might want to give the bottom tail of this rafter some shape. You could try a more elaborate shape to that as well, but once you work out a shape to that, you could then push pull that 50 millimeters. Which means I'm hoping then that I can pick up, it's not separated enough for me yet, but I can put a window just around those objects. I need to tip it around a bit further this way. Okay, it's very important when you do that that you're having some realization that you're not picking up other entities in behind. Sometimes you might be picking up something around the back, but I don't think I am at this stage. And then of course I can just make copies of that on red axis at 450 millimeter intervals. Okay, so you could come up with some arrangement like that and then put a supporting beam in underneath. That was just to give you another idea. Turning some shadows on, you can see some of the lighting effects, the shading effects that you can get with that. But I'm just going to back up a little bit now and go back to my other layout, and I'll just pause the video there.